Hello farmers. The end of one season marks the beginning of another. As we celebrate the turnout or the outcome of the summer cropping season for the 2024-25 farming season, we are grateful that the rains came in earnest, though late, but they came. So most parts of the country, we are seeing that the crops are at an advanced stage of the tasseling and pollination stage for the late crops, but the early planted crops are fully now having some fully formed cobs that are going to give the farmers some hope, and they're going to get some sizable or reasonable harvests. So we are quite grateful for the rains that came through, particularly in January and February, because the farmers, they brought a sigh of relief to the farmers after the prolonged dry spell that was experienced in the month of December. With that said, the farmers with the summer crop are implored on to make sure now that they are guarding their crops jealously from theft, from any unforeseen challenges that might come through in the form of either diseases, but mostly you find that theft is a major threat. So we implore on them to make sure that they are clearing the fields, the areas around their fields. They are putting guards, they are making sure that their crop is protected at all costs. And also, there might be a threat of fires that might happen. So it's also important, as the crop dries up, as we get into April, it's very important that we create some fire guards and make sure that we reduce chances of getting stray veld fires that might affect the crop. And again, it's also imminent that our farmers start preparing for harvesting, because farmers lose between 20 to 30% of their yields due to poor harvesting and post-harvest handling. So it's very, very important that our farmers start thinking about the harvesting processes that they are going to use, be they large scale or small scale. They need to start thinking of the storage facilities, mending the cracks within the storage facilities, making sure that they fumigate, they clean, they sanitize ahead of the introduction of the new harvest, which is going to be coming up. So this is in terms of the preparation for the harvesting season. But nonetheless, the end of the season, like we highlighted, it means that there's another season which is starting, which is the winter season. So the winter season comes with its challenges, whereby there are some crops that farmers cannot establish because of the low heat units that will be there and the incidence of frost that is likely. So we implore on our farmers with irrigation to look for crops that are suitable for their area, guided of course by market forces, but an understanding as well of their agroecological region and resource endowment. So we look at wheat as one of these key crops, and today we want to measure our discussion on wheat. On wheat production, it's very important for our farmers to know and understand that wheat is the second most important cereal crop after maize. With that said, in Zimbabwe, we consume between 360,000 to 400,000 metric tons of wheat annually. Over the past 2 seasons, we've been able to surpass this target tremendously. So we look forward to a bumper harvest of wheat again this season, but it starts with proper planning. So it's very, very important that our farmers start thinking about the harvesting processes that they are going to use, be they large scale or small scale. They need to start thinking of the storage facilities, mending the cracks within the storage facilities, making sure that they fumigate, they clean, they sanitize ahead of the introduction of the new harvest, which is going to be coming up. So this is in terms of the preparation for the harvesting season. But nonetheless, the end of the season, like we highlighted, it means that there's another season which is starting, which is the winter season. So the winter season comes with its challenges, whereby there are some crops that farmers cannot establish because of the low heat units that will be there and the incidence of frost that is likely. So we implore on our farmers with irrigation to look for crops that are suitable for their area, guided of course by market forces, but an understanding as well of their agroecological region and resource endowment. So we look at wheat as one of these key crops, and today we want to measure our discussion on wheat. On wheat production, it's very important for our farmers to know and understand that wheat is the second most important cereal crop after maize. With that said, in Zimbabwe, we consume between 360,000 to 400,000 metric tons of wheat annually. Over the past 2 seasons, we've been able to surpass this target tremendously. So we look forward to a bumper harvest of wheat again this season, but it starts with proper planning and proper resource mapping, and also making sure that we are aligned to the needs and requirements of the crop in question. So with wheat production, one of the key things that you need to look at, given that it's a crop which is going to be grown outside of the rainy season, you need to understand your water capacity, your dam levels, because as much as most the areas received rains, the dam level has improved in most parts of the country. Leave for some areas around Beatrice and some areas that are still suffering from low dam capacity, because with climate change it doesn't rain uniformly. So this is something that we are also looking at. So one of the other things that our farmers need to look at is the availability of enough water from planting to harvesting. It would be sad for you to establish a crop only to watch it fade off and dry down when there's not enough water to irrigate it to fruition. So it's very important for us to look out for that. So the amount of water required ranges between 450 to around 600 millimeters, which is 4.5 to 6 megaliters. So this should be enough to sustain a wheat crop in a varying range of soil types. With that said, we then go on to the land preparation which is required. You need to make sure that you do your land preparation to achieve a fine tilt, because wheat is very sensitive to clods and poorly prepared fields, unless if you are coming in with specialized equipment like no-till or strip-till planters. Otherwise, if you are going to be broadcasting, you need to make sure that you have a fine tilt to reduce chances of you not getting good germination. Looking at the size of wheat, you would see that it's very small seeded, so you want to make sure that you have that under control. Then in terms of the seed rate would range from around 110 to 125 kgs per hectare. And then in terms of that, you will have planted using a seed drill. So having used a seed drill, it also means that it's a precision tool, so that's why it allows for you to just plant on a specific row, so you can put a lower plant population or seed rate. But if you're going to be broadcasting, you then need to come in with a higher seed rate, which will range from about 125 kgs to 135 kgs. This will then suffice for some of the losses that are incurred from the broadcasting method, whereby some farmers will use a broadcasting tool like a Vicon spreader. So these are the planting methods and the seed rates. Now let's talk about the seed choice. It's very important for you to understand that seed choice is half the decision in terms of increasing productivity, where you find that there are a wide range of seed options that farmers can use. You can also use Esinduna, which is tried and tested seed type with a yield potential of well above 9 tons per hectare under optimum management. But now, because of climate change, there are new diseases that have come up like leaf rusts. You need to also embrace new seed types that have also been availed, that include the SC Select and SC Serena. These are flagship and top-notch variety blockbusters in the wheat production cycle, where you can also embrace these as well. So you can use SC Serena and SC Select. The other good thing with the new varieties is that they have a high protein content. So the high protein content speaks to the baking qualities that are being looked for by our millers and our markets. So the protein content is well above 11%, 12% if you're looking at SC Serena, 12.4, and if it's SC Select, it can go up to around 13% in terms of the protein content, which is commendable. So this is about the seed type that you can also use. Then in terms of planting, farmers are encouraged to plant at the optimum planting dates, which are from the 1st of May to the 15th of May. But in terms of planting, again, catching the planting window will make sure that you optimize on the optimum growth conditions in terms of the climatic conditions for the critical stages like tillering, booting, heading, and spike formation. So you need to plant on time. Again, if you plant on time, it will also enable you to harvest on time before the onset of the rains, because if the crop is rained on, it sprouts and the falling numbers will be reduced, thereby reducing the quality and selling quality as well of the wheat. The other thing is that if you catch the planting window, you are also in a position to catch the next season. You don't want to play catch up with the other seasons whereby you are always late. So if you plant on time, it has a ripple effect on the other seasons as well. So this is about the planting times that you need to get. And at planting, let's talk about the irrigation. You need to irrigate your crop. Make sure that it's at field capacity. The field should be at field capacity. Irrigate, plant, and then after the crop has emerged, you need maybe at emergence, sometimes you might need to break the crust so that the crop can emerge well. So you can do a bit of light disking, but you can be guided by the field conditions. After that, you can then get into the hardening stage where you deprive the crop of water for about 10 days, 14 days, give or take, depending on the soil type and the irrigation method in question. So these are some of the tips that you can also use. Of course, nutrition is very important. Some farmers are using cereal blend. Some farmers are using compound D. So you need to be guided by the resource endowment in the nutrient constitution as well in the fertilizers at planting. And then the other thing that you need to look at is the irrigation schedule after you've broken the cycle of hardening, where you come in. If it's in sandy soil, it's 7 to 10 days. In clay soils, it will be around 10 to 14 days. But an auger or something to just sample before and after irrigation will help for you to make informed decisions. Nonetheless, we are going to be giving you more tips as the wheat season comes and draws closer. For now, we want to make sure that you have your inputs in place, you have secured the right seed so that you start right, and make sure that you are geared up for bumper harvest. Indeed, wheat is a profitable crop under irrigation. You need to also consider it, be it small scale or commercial. It can be done in irrigation schemes. It can be done. It's a crop of choice. So let's discuss further as we get into the season. But remember, fortune favors the prepared, and the prepared always start with the right seed.